everyone, it's Silvia. Welcome back to my channel. I've got a lot of oracle decks in a bag, as you can see here. I don't even know how many there are. I just went through all of my oracle collection and I picked out all of the ones that were in a bag. And what we're going to do is something similar to what I've done a couple of weeks ago, where I did the same throughout all of my tarot decks. And I picked them out, and then I basically used a labeling system such as this one. So I was attaching these small labels to one of the strings of the bag, so that, for example, now I will always know that this is the landscape tarot. There you go, because it says so here on the tag. This is a very, let's say, high effort kind of high maintenance kind of video. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go through all of these decks first, and I'm going to decide whether the bag that I put them in is okay for these decks or not, because I have other bags. And so I thought to myself, you know, if there's one or two that need to be in a different bag, I can swap them between them. I might actually do that, and then I'll do the tagging thing, which is very tedious, to be honest. But we are going to have a look at all of these oracles decks today. So let's start. Okay, so there are 19 decks that we're going to have a look at today. So I'm actually going to show you the decks. I don't particularly want to decide on an order, so whatever comes first, whatever I grab first, I'm gonna show you. So this one looks like it came with the deck, because I don't honestly remember purchasing this bag. It's a beautiful black velvet one. Okay, no, it did not come with the deck. It's a bag that I had somewhere there, because this is the Witch's Apprentice Oracle. I love this deck so much. This is the only deck that actually pairs up quite nicely with the Barbara Walker Tarot, if you can believe it. And it not only pairs nicely with the Barbara Walker Tarot, it actually gives it a little bit of a I cannot really say sweet kind of side, because I really have trouble in thinking about the Barbara Walker Tarot and putting it together with in the same sentence as the word sweet. So I would probably not say that, but I would say that it softens the blows. Let me put it this way. It's almost as if we were just looking at Barbara and say, Barbara, as I always say, take a chill pill, Barbara, just calm down. Yeah, we get you, we understand what you're saying. I love this cat, by the way. Independence, of course. But, you know, it still makes it very truthful, very direct when you do your readings, but at the same time, you kind of survive the reading as opposed to being struck by a lightning. So, I think that, you know, if I find something more witchy, perhaps, but for now, I'm kind of liking it with this bag. So I'm gonna keep this here, and then I will tag it. I just have to remember what it is. Okay, let's move on to the next one, just grabbing whatever it's here. So this one here, I think I know which one this one is because of the bag. This was actually very recent, as in I want this bag for this deck. Yep, indeed. So this is the Tree Whisper Oracle. This is one of the many editions of this deck. So by Maggie Black, this is the Dream Travelers. I specifically wanted this deck as opposed to all of the other decks that we're kind of used to see out of this Oracle deck. I don't think that it's still in stock. This is an indie deck anyway. I don't think that it's still in stock. Maybe there will be, you know, in the future a different edition again to be released. The reason why I really wanted this one was because of all this snow, and I really absolutely love it. And if you're wondering, yes, it does pair really nicely with the Death Doula Oracle. And then, you know, there's a number of tarot decks based in winter, the Winter Season Tarot by Daniel Norman. But there's other decks that I pair it with when it comes to tarot decks. Not all of the cards actually show snow. There's some of them that are actually taken from a different season. If you're not familiar with these line of decks, they're very intuitive. So as you can see here, this is a photograph, but it's been mirrored. It means that you know, the right part is mirrored into the left part. And then there's a key sentence, or more likely a keywords at the bottom of the card that says here, recurring dream. And this is very intuitive because I don't know if you can see this, but to me, this looks like a door. So imagine working with this as if you were approaching a Rorschach test. So you look at these images and they do communicate with you. They do tell you something. I promise you 100%. In many cases, in the center of the image, it will look like there's a creature. Like for example, in this one, this to me looks like a, almost like a high priestess here, but the theme is absence. So you meditate on that, you journal on that, you reflect on that. It is a really beautiful oracle deck, extremely soft cardstock, really like it. It's rather large, of course, in size, so you need to, you know, if you have small hands like I do, then it might be a problem. But honestly, I'm willing to put up with a little bit of a problem in shuffling the deck. Because, sorry, the battery ran off on me without any kind of warning, so these things happen. So as I was saying, absolutely gorgeous, this deck. I really love it. Dream travel, absolutely gorgeous. And so this one, I'm pretty happy with the box. Sorry, with the box, with the bag, because I think it was actually made on purpose for this deck. So these, let's say 90% of the Tarot and Oracle bags that I've got come from the fantastic Tarot Bag Ladies. You can find them on Facebook, and they are based in Queensland, based in Australia, but they do ship overseas. I don't necessarily know what is going to happen with the shipping to the US, but if you get in touch with them, they will let you know. So happy with that. Then let's just move on to, let's say, this one, which has got some really nice occult sort of witchy vibes with the snake and the cat and the owl. Really beautiful. I have no idea what's inside of here, so let's just find out. Oh, okay. Awesome. This is actually the When Olga Speaks. This is by Sasha Lopez. I absolutely adore this deck. It's an oracle deck, obviously. All of the decks that we're going to look at today are oracle decks. Really beautiful, very conducive of a very deep conversation. I always refer to what Annette from a Project Refine Life says whenever she talks about this deck, that it's not when Olga speaks, it's when Olga speaks, she yells, because it's almost as if you were getting the message out of these cards in such a direct way that it certainly feels like, you know, it really comes directly at you. And it is a beautiful deck. It is a collage deck, but it's done really well. And I absolutely love it. There's so I know that Sasha is working on another deck now, because I do follow her on both Instagram, and also she has a YouTube channel. So Sasha Lopez, you can follow her. And she is making another oracle deck, which looks absolutely fantastic. So quite happy with this one. It does have witchy vibes, because I'm imagining that Olga, which is the grandma, maybe she wasn't a witch, but she had this kind of vibes around her. Okay, so there's another one here which is very tiny. I mean, it's not that many cards, so I don't know which one this is. So let's have a look. This is the Dark Damsel Oracle with amethyst on the back. I really like that. So I would say that this one pairs up nicely because of all the darker colors. So this is an incredibly beautiful dark oracle deck that actually is one of the very few that I'm okay with pairing up with the Light Seers Tarot, if you can believe it. It just, and also there's, I believe, another deck that pairs up nicely with this one. I believe it's called the Luminous Tarot, the Numinous Tarot, not the Luminous Tarot. So it's not the one by Laura Sussman, is another one that it's either with the L or with the N. Apologies for that, I do not remember. But if you know which deck I'm talking about, it does have very similar kind of art style to this oracle deck. although this is much darker than the tarot, but they do pair up nicely together. And I really love this deck. It's actually very, you know what, I'm thinking I could also pair it nicely with the cracked amethyst tarot, probably. I may try that. I may actually post a video with my latest favorite pairings. What do you guys think? Would you like me to post a video on pairings? Let me know in the comments below. Because generally speaking, there's a few people that really are into pairings, but not too many. So whenever I post a video about pairings that I'm doing, there's some of you that always watch those videos, but the majority, I reckon it's because you guys don't use pairings in your practice, which is totally fine, but I just wonder why that is. In any case, moving on. So this one here, I think this one actually comes with the deck, because I think it's my Naomi Cornock, yeah. So this is Naomi Cornock's The Old Ways Magic Oracle. I don't even know which version this is. It's the one from 2021. I know that there's a couple of versions of this deck, and I really love the art style. Now, let me just say something, and it comes with the guidebook as well. So obviously, if you don't necessarily get the meaning, or it's not really conducive at the beginning, you can always go to the guidebook. It's very well written. I really like it. The art style is fantastic. I really love this. Let me just say something that I know that a lot of people wouldn't disagree with, but for decks like this, which are incredibly artistic and really beautiful, I need keywords, not title. So this one is as close to keywords as we can get. Tribe is more like a title, but I get it. Farsight is a keyword for me. Wisdom is a keyword for me. Death is a noun, of course, but it could be a keyword and also a title. Journey's End is more like a title. Endure, it's a keyword. Pathways, you know what I mean? So you could definitely work with these words, absolutely. Wild Mage is more a title, but you can sort of understand the meaning by looking at the cards. So when it comes to the last oracle deck that has been released and made by or illustrated by Naomi, which is called the Morgan, I actually have trouble in working with that deck because, and I know that there are several walkthroughs, doesn't matter. I just need to feel how I work with the cards, and I just don't feel like I can work with it. Because there's only titles referring to characters, but not necessarily working for me unless I do know the characters really well. It's the same conundrum. It's a very old kind of issues that I've always had, and I'm not the only one out there with this kind of issues. So whenever there's a really beautiful deck, for example, that talks about something mythological, for example, and it's not necessarily something that I know well enough in order to be able to use that particular deck without the keywords, it kind of puts me off using it. And unless it's a, let's say, a collectible item, I would end up rehoming the deck because of that reason, because I cannot use it. If it's a mass market deck and I'm not using it because it doesn't have keywords, I feel really bad about it, and I have to give it, to rehome it, hoping that the next person would definitely use it. Because I believe that these decks need to be used. And that's one of the reasons why I'm actually going through this process of pairing them with the bag, but also discovering what's inside the bag, because I feel like it needs to be done. Otherwise, I would probably forget that they're there or that I have them. So this one, really beautiful image with the elephant and the person there. I know which one this is. It's one of the many I Ching decks that I've got. I will have to say that this one is probably the one that I like the most because it is really, really beautiful. Sorry, there's a thread here. It really is an amazing deck. I love this minimalist style. It feels to me like this is based on kanjis, so ideograms. Hito, this one could be an ideogram, but it's not. It's missing one line there. I really like this door. This is the Anso. This is the circle of life. So it's basically saying everything that is included in the circle is within myself, but the circle is never closed. So it is important that there is a little bit of room here for everything that is inside of me to get out and everything that is outside of me to get in. I really love this concept. So for me, this is one of my favorite I Ching decks. I do believe that I've got at least 4 or 5. The second favorite is definitely the one illustrated by Madhava Padma. I don't remember what it's called. But this one is definitely really, really gorgeous. As I said, all of these brush strokes here look like they have so much intention behind them. And I really love it. I love it. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't know enough when it comes to the hexagrams in order to be able to study them, because I remember I went to the tarot conference in Perth in Western Australia, and the illustrator, creator of the deck, The Sims, so the Southeast Asian Myth and Legend Stories Tarot, which is really beautiful. He was there giving a lesson on Bagua. And so we're starting with the Bagua, which are 3 lines, and then we evolve into the hexagrams, which are the I Ching. I still want to do it the right way, and I'm actually still studying the Bagua. So I'm not ready to study or to work with the I Ching as yet. But let's say, you know, when you have a guidebook, it's kind of okay, because you look at the guidebook and you kind of, you know, for each and every card, you just go back and you understand what the meaning or the keywords are. But I want to get to the stage in which I see the hexagram, I see what elements are involved, and I kind of give a reading. So it will probably take a while. So let's have a look at this one. This is really beautiful. So I went to a scraps fair, scraps selling market in Sydney about a year ago, I remember. And I bought a lot of scraps of fabric like this one, and then I sent them to the tarot bag ladies, and you know, and they combined it with these ribbons and also with the inside lining, and this one is absolutely gorgeous. I actually wanted to put the either the playing cards deck by Patrick Valenza or directly the Divya Moon by Patrick Valenza, but for now I've actually put these ones because these are also looks more or less like poker cards, and this is the Eye Oracle. The name escapes me. I do have the guidebook, of course, but I didn't keep the box, and so whenever I look at it, for me it's just always the Eye Oracle, but it's something else. And I will look it up and I will put in the video when I do the editing. So this is like a playing cards deck, as you can see. Obviously some of these cards are upside down, I believe, because, or are they all upside down? Let me just do like this. Sorry about that, but I just have a thing about never putting the cards back upside down. I really do not like that. So this is the right way up. Really loving the images here. Unfortunately my deck came that it was flawed. I don't know what happened, but I would say half of these cards, if I find one I will show you, probably less than half, but many of these cards have a residual of ink on them, and I tried using a small rubber, I tried erasing it, and it just doesn't come out. So it feels like it's already been migrating through the coating of the cards, and once that happens there's no way to remove it. So I'll show you. I don't know if you can tell, but I can tell immediately. Probably doesn't come out so clearly from the lens, but I can assure you it's something that actually kind of bothers me. And so this looks to me like it's Garibaldi. Okay, my Italian viewers, subscribers and members, is this Garibaldi? Does this look like Garibaldi to you? It does to me. The authority figure, of course. Garibaldi was a general that helped Cavour, who was the politician that built up the idea of unification of the Italian territories, because obviously Italy was not an actual country until 1861. Before that we were just a number of territories, let's say. but thanks to Cavour, we became a country. And but he needed, you know, a strong man. He was the brains, he needed the bronze, and the bronze was Garibaldi. Garibaldi had an amazing story because he basically loved South America, spent a lot of time in South America, and he also, let's say, learned a lot of techniques for war and guerrilla in South America that he then applied when he was fighting in Italy. So this one, I absolutely love this bag. I don't remember where I got it from. It is such a beautiful bag, and I really love it. I love the, I think it's very luxurious as well, you can tell, because it's very high quality fabric. And what did I put inside here? Let me just double check, I'm curious now. Oh, okay, so I made this deck myself. So I would say this is a combination of the one or two of the Great Eastern Oracle, and but in any case, this type of deck that you find published by Blue Angel, Razuli themed decks. And what I've done, I trimmed them to this size, and then I added, I think I trimmed off the keyword or the sentence that was at the bottom of these cards. I trimmed them off, I put them together, so this is two Oracle decks. I discarded a few of the cards that didn't really resonate with me, and then I meditated on them, and I put either a keyword or a sentence at the bottom again, but that was something that was resonating with me. And so I call it something that I made. It is something that I made. I don't think I can claim anything about the ownership of this deck, in the sense that I just trimmed it and added keywords or sentences. But these ones actually really work for me, and I really like it. And because I use this, which is a permanent marker, but it's silver, it actually stands out quite a lot, because that was one of the problems that I needed to resolve, that many of these cards are really light, not all of them have blank spaces at the bottom. And so I chose this one, and I think that it works. So I haven't used this deck in a while, and this makes me want to use it. Maybe, you know what I'll do? Maybe I will use it with the Lonely Dreamer Tarot, which is based on, curated after the work of Odilon Redon, because it feels like it might actually pair up nicely with that one. And maybe that will make me like that deck, possibly, because okay, let me rephrase it. I love that deck, it's beautiful, but I cannot work with it. It doesn't resonate with me. So moving on, let's have a look at what we've got in here. So okay, another I Ching. This is the I Ching of Vision, the Visions of I Ching, or something like that. Apologies, I'm really bad at names for my I Ching decks, because in my head I just call them I Ching. This one, again, I've done something really stupid, and I kind of regret it, because as you can see, I trimmed. So this one came, it's really beautiful, the art is amazing. However, it came with two different borders, and I felt like it just didn't work for me, and the cards were huge, and so I trimmed the first border off first, and then it still didn't work, and then I was considering trimming the second one, and then I started, because I thought, okay, I'm just gonna put the number of the card on the back, as you can see here. So I can work with this one, but not as an I Ching, because I did not put down the hexagrams, the lines. And so this one for me now has become simply either a meditation deck or an oracle deck. So I can still use it, and I really like it. It's very beautiful. These watercolors are just all the feels for me. I really, really love them. And as a matter of fact, as an oracle deck, I can actually use it with a lot of similar vibes or similar art style that I can find in tarot decks. But I don't use it as an I Ching, so I can see the number here, of course, but I don't see the hexagram. So for me, there's no point, because I will not be learning from this deck. And it does come with 64 cards, because that's how many hexagrams there are. So it's a big deck to be an oracle deck. It's really big. But as I said, it just it's such a pity though, because I should buy it again, and I should keep it in its original form and learn it learn to read with it once I learn to read with the I Ching. And then, you know, I can get back to this one and recognize the images, I suppose. I don't really know, but in any case, it is a beautiful deck. I also edged it in blue, as you can see, but it wasn't the right thing to do, but now that it's done, it's not like you can go back. And it's a mass market deck, so I can actually rebuy it. So moving on, there's this one here. I bought this back in Thailand. So it's nice because in Thailand they have these really beautiful bags that are perfect for tarot and oracle decks. So this is the Sacred Nature Oracle. I love this deck so much. It is so beautiful. This is the deck that I use in combination with the Circle of Doors Tarot because they really pair up nicely together. Really beautiful. It is giving me such calm kind of vibes. It's such an amazing deck. I love the fact that we do have this pairing with, you know, these sepia kind of photographs, and then we have a keyword, but then we also have the name of the plant that is not only here on the bottom right corner, as you can see, but also the same plant that you can find in the photo. So this, I imagine, has been a really difficult kind of photo session, and I imagine that it's been done you know, throughout maybe multiple days, because it must not have been easy to procure. All of these lavender is easy, fine, but look how many bunches of lavender, how many this. So basically this one, I have them as well. I dry them, I let them desiccate, and then I use them for decorative purposes. So this must have been really difficult to organize as a photo shoot. And then you get the people in and you have to put the leaves on top of them, you know, but the result is amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and I can't believe that it's so calm and almost lyrical, almost poetic, you know. And when I use it with the Circle of Doors Tarot, it takes on a different kind of vibe, which is more attuned to the Circle of Doors, which for me is it's one of those decks that I really, it really makes me use my intuition. It also makes me, it's a challenge because I look at the photos which are stacked, and I kind of recognize the elements and the symbols there. But with this deck, it just becomes even more clear. So I really recommend it together. The Sacred Nature is a mass market deck, whereas the Circle of Doors is an indie deck, but I believe it's still available. Then moving on to this one, this is really beautiful. Look, it's like velvet, and inside it's this kind of motif with the fabric here, so really love it. So let's have a look at what I've got inside. I don't know. Okay, this is the remaining cards from the Soul Cards 1 and 2. So if you guys watch my video, it's a similar video but with tarot decks. I have also combined these two decks and made another deck, but it's a tarot deck out of the Soul Cards 1 and 2. I'm very proud of that tarot deck, and ever since I received comments from people saying that they've done the same, so it would be really cool to see everyone else's choices about, you know, what that card inspired them and what they associate that card with when it comes to the tarot cards. These ones remaining are very powerful. All of them are really powerful. These decks by Deborah Koff Chapin, they're just really, I would say, very eloquent. Some of them actually scream to me, and they have been made with a very specific kind of art style, or at least some of it. And it's called touch painting. So it's very interesting. She also holds workshops to learn how to do touch painting. I actually looked into it, but they are in the US. And so maybe when I'll go to the US one day, I will be able to attend one of these, assuming that she keeps on holding them, because obviously, you know. But they're really, really nice. And I like to keep them here because these kind of, how should I say, the pattern in the velvet fabric here actually kind of reflects, mirrors the patterns of the cards. So let's have a look. This one is another one of those fabrics that I said I bought, And then I sent them off to the tarot bag ladies, and they paired it up with this inside fabric for the lining and the ribbon. I think it's a fantastic result. I really love this bag. And I was thinking about storing in here. I actually tried the Herb Crafters Tarot, but it's a slightly larger kind of bag. And so I put another of my I Chings. And obviously this is the one that has been illustrated by Madhava Padma. I absolutely love this deck. And see, this is a learning or a teaching rather deck for me, because when you look at the card, it shows every single thing that you want to know about the card. So it shows you the element, it shows you the number, okay? It does give you one title, and then it gives you a lot of keywords, and it also shows you the hexagram. So and obviously these two elements are reflected here as well with the colors, so mountain and air. For example, I feel like this is probably the right deck for me to start using if I, you know, whenever I will stop learning about the Bagua and moving on to the I Ching. This is going to be my learning I Ching kind of deck. The illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. I really love them. And if they do remind you of the Osho Zen Tarot, it's because it's the same illustrator, so Madhava Padma, as I said. This one reminds me so much of the Osho Zen Tarot, but all of them really. And it's really beautiful. And you know, my first impression was, oh, the borders are big. And then I thought, yeah, they're big because they need to be, because obviously you need to put all of this information. So I, for once, actually did the right thing and restrained myself on, you know, trimming off the borders. And it was the right thing to do, because now I have this deck and I can actually study with this deck. And the book is very good as well. So if you want to learn, obviously it depends on how you feel by looking at these images. Are they conducive for you? You know, the keywords, etc. It's something that we need to do. Every single one of us, we need to do it and decide whether a deck is the right deck to learn something with or not. Because, I mean, after all, there's a lot of learning deck or teaching decks out there, not just for the I Ching, but for Tarot, for Lenormand, for Kipper, and so on and so forth. And so it's up to us to find the one that actually works for us. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decks left, so let's go through this. I know this one because it's very unique, and this is very artistic. So this is the Word of Sarah Howard, but this one is the first edition, is it? So it's not the one with the sentences, is the one with the keywords, and I really prefer this one to the other one. It also, the Blue House Tarot. Oh, okay, so this is the Tarot Avatara, and I guess a Blue House was the original name and then she changed it. So this is by Gabby Angus West. And I also have the original version of the Bonfire Tarot. So 2016, Wallace Lake, beautiful. And the Bonfire Tarot, so I have the original, as well as the latest ones, mass market decks. I love this deck so much, and it pairs up really nicely with the original of the Bonfire Tarot. With the other ones, not so much, because the cards are rather big, rather large. The colors are just fascinating to me, and let me just say, I prefer this one. So she actually republished this deck, but she put sentences rather than keywords. And I have to say, I had that deck, I had to rehome it, I was not using it. It just didn't do anything for me. The sentences, I just got lost in reading them. There was no sense of recognition, but this is very personal. Obviously, they may work for someone else. Wounds, look how beautiful this and strong and powerful this card is. So I really love this deck. I only pair it with the Bonfire Tarot. I don't have the Avatara. I think it would probably pair nicely with the Avatara as well, but with the Bonfire Tarot, it's like they're made for each other, which is actually true, because they have been made for each other. and really love. Also, I have been, so Gabby lives in New South Wales. She lives about 600 kilometers north from where I live, and I have been to that area, the lake area, so many times. It's really beautiful, and I totally understand why she feels the inspiration to make these decks, because it's absolutely, it's also a little bit witchy. It does have those kind of vibes. So moving on, I've got another deck here. I think I know which one this is. Yes, this is the Oracle of Oddities. It's edition 1, 2, and 3 put together. And I love these decks so much. They are absolutely gorgeous. They pair up nicely with a number of decks, not just the decks by Claire Goodchild. Obviously, I'm talking about the Antique Anatomy Tarot. I really love them. It's also because I personally really love this kind of drawings, you know, of antique anatomy indeed. And I also love the association with the plants. I think that everything works in these, and she's done a fantastic job, honestly. I don't have the Memento Mori, which is the Lenormand, but it can also be used as an oracle deck with several expansions as well. I don't have that deck, so maybe one day I will feel called by that deck, but because I have the Oracle of Oddities, it feels like it's just perfect the way it is. And also the keywords are so spot on for these images. Look at this one, it says toxic, and it just, and these are kidneys, and they're really black, and you think about what happens to your kidneys, and the amount of toxic substances that you need to ingest, you know, for your kidneys to look like that. And it's very powerful. It's very eloquent and very chatty as a deck. Really love this deck so much. I might actually want to find a different bag, because this one is more like, if I do have a chakra oracle, so maybe I will find the chakra oracle and I will use the bag for the chakra oracle, and I will find a different one for the Oracle of Oddities. It just feels like it's, you know, properly, you know, it will be, a different one will be better for this deck. So moving on, the last ones, this one is absolutely gorgeous. I have two of these. One of them I actually use it for the Bee Tarot, and so beautiful, this bag. And okay, so I know which one this is. This is the Cat Guru's Oracle, which I absolutely love, to the point that I actually have the mini as well, which was a gift. Really nice. I love all of these decks. This is the Grumpy Cat. Come on, we all know the Grumpy Cat. Grouchiness is next to godliness. Start every day with a hiss and get it over with. Frown and the whole world frowns with you. You see, I love how sassy this is, and it's just really spot on, because there's a lot of cats, a lot of breeds that are really sassy. Tabbies and Ginger are really sassy, and I just love them for that. And I think that it's actually spot on. I don't use it in combination with other decks, as you can imagine. I do have a lot of tarot decks that are themed after cats, but they don't really pair up nicely. I think that this is just one of those decks that I use by itself. And probably I used to do a 1-card pull every day months ago when I got it, months or years ago when I got it the first time. I think it's an excellent deck. Maybe the flowers are not the best bag, but I don't have a bag with animals, just cats, for example, unless we're talking about witchy bags. So for now, I'm just gonna put it back in here. And let's move on. We got another deck here. This is really beautiful. This is another bag by the Tarot Bag Ladies, and this is this is an Aboriginal kind of design, and this is mimicking or mirroring the Great Barrier Reef. So if you've ever taken a helicopter flight over the Great Barrier Reef, this is what you see. I have been there. I didn't think it was possible to, you know, I thought, come on, all of the photos that you see around, they have to be manipulated, it's not possible. I took an helicopter flight and I saw exactly this, so I highly recommend it. It's not even that expensive, to be honest, because we're looking at helicopter flights over the Serengeti, and we're talking about $800 US. So this one probably was about $400 Australian, so it's a lot less than that. Okay, so this is the Mantra Oracle. I really like this deck, but being completely honest with you guys, I don't feel called to use it because, well, the art style, I love it. It's very, very nice. And I do know a few mantras out of yoga, my many years of yoga, of course. But I don't know all of them. And to be honest with you, there's not... So what you find here is the mantra and then the horn of plenty. So obviously you need to know the mantra to understand the sentence at the bottom of the card, and I don't know all of them. And there is a beautiful guidebook, so of course I should look into the guidebook and, you know, try and make it work like that. But there's also something else that I have to say. When there's a deck like this, so this one, ironically, I paired it up with the Fifth Spirit Tarot, and it pairs up really nicely. So if you have the Fifth Spirit, they're both mass market decks. They pair up really nicely, and that's probably one of the reasons why I kept this and I never rehomed this deck, because whenever I use the Fifth Spirit, I always use it in combination with this deck. So fair enough. It's a beautiful deck, but as I said, either I would just seriously sit down with this deck one day and I want to try and find a way to bond with it, or I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I don't know. We'll see. And the bag is actually rather large, but it is a larger size oracle deck. So this one here, again, some other fabrics that I bought at the Scraps fair and the Scraps market, and then I sent it. And I really love the combination with this kind of a yolk yellow of the fabric inside, which is really nice. And I love this detail here as well. So this one, oh, okay, so this one is another, so this is the Oracle of Transformation, the Osho Oracle of Transformation. So that deck in English is out of print. It's actually not easy to find, at least for me here based in Australia. So when I went to Turkey and I found the Turkish version, I had to buy it. Of course, I do not speak Turkish. So what I've done, the guidebook was also in Turkish. What I've done, I translated the keywords with my Google Translate app, and then I wrote them down in a like a really big A4 sheet, front and back, and so I have them there with the number. And I remember studying this deck and associating the numbers with the word and the keyword, and so trying to teach myself at least these words in Turkish. And at the beginning it was actually working, and I was associating the keywords with the images as well, and I remember thinking that it was making sense. Jesus, some of them are really, sorry, I had to cover this one, apologies for that. Some of them are really intense, apologies for that. But if you don't keep on going, I kind of lost it, and now I'll have to start doing it again. But it's a really beautiful deck, and I remember thinking to myself, these are the backs, by the way. I remember thinking to myself that it's a very deep deck as well. Some of these cards are very intense, to the point of being almost creepy. But with the keywords, it just made them very powerful. So I remember thinking that this deck needs, or deserves a lot more attention than I'm giving it. If I did find the English version, I'm sure that I had absolutely no problems in using it. It's just that because I couldn't find it and I got the Turkish version, obviously I do have the obstacle of the language in that case. So we're down to 2, and I just wanted to show you this one. This is something that I've done again. So I actually bought a deck that is called the Lost Words, and it's not referring to, it's not an oracle deck per se, it's actually kind of a game, but I felt like I wanted to associate keywords to the animals that are portrayed in these cards, and so then I actually wrote the keywords down. And I love this so much. It's really beautiful, but I need to find a better bag than that one. So I will definitely change the bag, because I don't like to use these organza ones. So as you can see, I associate a heron with stillness, Heather with independence, Fern with sincerity, Ada with wisdom, Dandelion with hope, Conker with protection, Bluebell with gratitude, and so on and so forth. There's not a lot of cards, as you can see, it's a smaller deck. But I do like the images so much. And ironically, this one actually pairs up really nicely with, for example, a couple of decks, one by Lennox Rees. So the latest one the Folkloric Forest Tarot. I know that there's another one. Lennox is actually working, because I follow her Instagram account, and she's working on another deck that will be very watery in vibes, and I cannot wait for the Kickstarter to launch, because I'm going to back it immediately. And I think that this one, it works. This really works. So it is the Lost Words and deck, and it's, as I said, it's a game. But I just isolated these cards, and I just associated with the images with a keyword, and it just works really well. It's a beautiful deck. And then last but not least, we've got this one, which is also really beautiful bag. And I cannot for the life of me know, I cannot guess what deck is inside here. Oh, okay, so this is actually 2 decks. So it's the Inner Queen Oracle. One is the full color, and one is the version, and one is the, let's say, muted color version. I actually use them together, even though, so I don't know if I can, all right, let me start again. So this one is by Letizia Casano. She released them in 2020. That is the 2nd edition. There's 37 each. And there's also a link to download the PDF guide. So there is something that happens lately in the last few months. The algorithms in YouTube have become very strict, and I believe that it's a method for machine learning to adjust and fine-tune. But so far it is very difficult to show, especially when it comes to the woman's body. Whenever it's naked, it's very difficult to show it and get away with it. And even though it is artistic, I feel like the algorithm really doesn't care. It cannot distinguish between photos, for example, and paintings. And obviously we have an infinite number of paintings with naked women, I mean, everywhere really. But I don't think that the algorithm actually can distinguish between that. And so it thinks that it's obviously dirty stuff, and so it either blocks the video or it demonetizes the video. So there's a number of glitches that happen. You have to get in touch with the customer service. They don't always respond to you. They don't always understand. Like they have a guideline to follow, and if it doesn't follow the guidelines, they will not do anything about it. Most of the time they will do nothing about the video, and it would just stay in limbo until someone either deletes it or well, that's it. So I'm sorry, but until, let's put it this way, until the algorithms will successfully understand what is art and what is actual dirty stuff, and I cannot even say the word because I'm terrified of being demonetized. So it is what it is, but it's a beautiful deck. Very beautiful for, yeah, as you can see here, very beautiful for women, I would say. It does have very spot on keywords as well, and I like it for personal readings. I don't use it much with my members or clients, but I do like it for personal readings. So that was the last one. I would definitely leave it in this bag. And so now it's time for me to, I think that I only want to switch a couple of bags and then apply the tags. But I'm going to stop the video here because otherwise it becomes too long. And the purpose of this was to show you some of the most beautiful bags that I've got where I keep my oracle cards in, and 19 oracle decks. And so I will see you next time. Bye.